All right, San Diego sports leader. It's the Mighty 1090 final hour of the program, taking you up until 3 o'clock with you on a Tuesday. We go out to the Western Exterminator Hotline, and joining us, as he does each and every week on the program, he is Brian Dutcher, the associate head coach, the head coach in waiting of San Diego State as they prepare to hit the road. They will play at Colorado State tomorrow night. They will play at UNLV coming up on Saturday. They took care of their business at home this previous week with wins against Boise State and Fresno State. And with that, we say hello to the coach. Coach, good to talk to you. How are you?
Great to be back, Darren, and excited to try to take on Colorado State tomorrow night.
Well, let me start with the week that you guys had at home. You had a couple of wins. You won them in completely different fashion. Give us an idea about, Boise State, your thoughts on that game, and then following that up with a complete blowout of Fresno State. Handle your business at home, as we've said all season long.
Yeah, absolutely. If you have any chance to win this conference, you have to take care of home court, and that's why we're a game out right now, because we've let a home game slip away earlier in the year. But with that being said, we've got a chance now to sneak out on the road and steal one back.
Does it matter how you win? And when you win in conference, and this is now the status that you guys have elevated yourselves to, and this is a product of your very own winning. People would look at that Boise State win and they'd say, yeah, probably a little bit too close to comfort. Maybe San Diego State got a little bit lucky. For you guys, does it matter how you win?
Obviously you want to be playing your best basketball, but in a week, all it's going to show up is a win. People are going to forget that it took a buzzer beater to get it for us. You got to find a way to win, and sometimes it's not always pretty. Sometimes it takes one or two key plays down the stretch that they don't make and we do to get a victory, and we're just really excited to get that one, and it kind of catapulted us to the next one with Fresno, which we really played well.
Can you take us back to Wednesday night when you're playing at home and the ball bounces to Tapley? I mean, can you remember what you were thinking when that ball is up and in the air?
I was saying, please go in, please go in. I mean, it was, we were down 3 points and we chose to go for two. Jamal made a layup and then we fouled. And with a short clock, we were hoping he'd miss a free throw, which he did. He made the first one. Marks did, missed the second. Now we're down two. Now we got a chance to go down and tie the game. And Jamal tried to do the same thing. He tried a length of the floor charge. The ball got batted away, and it fell into Tapley's hands. He made a pass fake and hit a big, big shot. Maybe his first real game winner at San Diego State.
And also after the game, I thought it was interesting that you had former players in the house. What was going on there that so many of your guys went running up there and they wanted to celebrate with players that had come through the doors here before?
Absolutely. That's tradition, and that's the most exciting part about the whole thing. When we get Malcolm back, DJ back, Billy back, they all come back. Carwell's been back. A lot of the players from the past, they come back and enjoy this environment they helped create. And so when Chase made it, he ran down to the end zone, and I know Malcolm was down there, Billy was down there, and they all had a good time in that end zone with the show.
We're talking to Brian Dutcher, San Diego sports leader. It's the Mighty 1090. The Aztecs hitting the road today. They'll play Colorado State coming up tomorrow on the road. Then they will play at UNLV. The second game you guys played this week was much different. You blew out Fresno State, and I think that so often in college sports we see this, especially in college basketball. At what point do you and Coach Fisher decide, all right, now it's time to empty the bench? Now it's time to play guys who we don't get a chance to see on a regular basis?
Well, Coach Fisher, he always wants to empty it a little earlier than I do. I get a little nervous, but it was a fun game where everyone got in to play. Castleberry, Aaron, Ryan, Dwayne Poley got some quality minutes finally and did a real good job for us. And so we're building a bench, we're building confidence, and which is a good thing to have as you head onto the road.
It always seems to me like these games happen. Everybody's team, if you're a college basketball fan, has these kind of games where there's a huge blowout and the crowd gets into it and people want to see the walk-ons. People want to see players play that they've never seen before. What's it like actually on the bench? Do you guys have a sense of that kind of Rudy moment where people are rooting to see guys who they don't normally get a chance to see?
Yeah, the crowd gets excited, and no more than excited than our players. I mean, they know how hard these kids work in practice. Narbe and players like that, every day they put it on the line and help us get better as a team. And then when they finally get in the game, no one takes greater pleasure in them scoring or playing than the starters or the guys that have carried the ship for most of the year. So that's the greatest reward as a coach, to see the chemistry, the camaraderie amongst all the guys when those that get few minutes finally get a chance to play.
Well, one observation about your bench, and, I don't have any way to support this, but I don't know that there's a more active bench that I've seen in college basketball this year. It seems like your players, whether it's the first couple of guys off the bench, your first immediate couple subs, or the guys who we got a chance to see play against Fresno State, I've noticed that live in person, and I've also seen it on television. Your bench is like really a very, very enthusiastic bench during these games.
Absolutely, Darren. We've got great team chemistry, and a lot of times benches are orchestrated. Coaches, they spend time in the preseason saying when this guy comes out of the game, everyone has to stand. And when you see that and you know that happens, you kind of say, well, yeah, they're kind of all standing, but it's like they have to. I think our bench is just pure emotion. We don't do any orchestrating of, hey, you have to do this, you have to do that. But be a good teammate, be supportive of those in the game when you're not in the game. Just life messages, and our guys seem to pick up on those. Coach Fisher does such a great job delivering those life messages about being a good teammate, supporting others, and I think you see that with our team.
Well, your guys take that to a level, like I said, you don't see on a lot of different benches around college basketball, and I watch enough games to know that yours stands out. Speaking of the bench, Coach, Xavier Thames comes off the bench this previous weekend. He plays 13 minutes there. He contributes. How are you managing this? The decision, A, whether or not he plays, and B, if he does play, to start him or have him come off the bench?
It's a lot of that's up to X and Coach. They meet, and he lets them know how he's feeling, how he's doing. We try to let him go a little bit more in practice this week, but obviously Coach then says, X, that's enough. I think X would like to do a little bit more, but we're being overly cautious with him because we know we need him in games. So there is a little slippage conditioning-wise, but obviously when X is on the floor, it makes a huge difference for our team.
Do you have any sort of expectation for him tomorrow night at Colorado State?
Well, we're hoping he'll play. He practiced yesterday, but obviously we'll see what he does today in practice and how he feels game day. If it tightens up, if it feels good, and I think our plan right now is for him to play in the game. Unforeseen circumstances could affect that, but right now it's all hands on deck. The Aztecs appear to be at full strength and ready to go battle the Rams tomorrow.
Well, you guys are going to play 2 games on the road. How does that work? You guys will charter up to Colorado State. Is there any maybe this is just an NFL thing here. Is there any temptation to just stay on the road? Do you guys come back home to San Diego in between? How does it work when you play back-to-back road games in the same week?
We don't charter a lot of games. We chartered 3 this year, and this is one of them. And we wanted to get the kids into class today so they can attend a full day of class. We'll practice at our normal time, fly in there, and then fly back immediately after the game where they'll be in class tomorrow. So on Thursday. So we try to limit the amount of class time we miss, and at the same time, it's always easier to prepare at home than it is on the road. So the ability to charter is hopefully going to be a huge advantage for the Aztecs this week, where we can get in and out, get back in here, have 2 good days of practice at Viejas, and then go to Vegas to play them on Saturday.
Is there any thought when you guys have this kind of schedule here to just going from Colorado straight into Nevada?
Not really. I mean, that's an extended stay on the road, one that we don't like to do. Like I said, these kids are here for college. They're here to go to school, and we want to make sure that when given the opportunity to get them back here and get them into the classroom, that's what we want to do, and that's what they want to do.
And I'm sure they would not like to spend extra time in Las Vegas anyway. I mean, there's just nothing to do there for a college kid.
Yeah, no distractions for them at all. No, this is a good thing. Trust me, Darren. And like I said, the Vegas trip, we're going to fly commercial in there on Friday, and then we are going to bus back after the game because we have a quick turnaround. We play Wyoming at home, I believe, on Tuesday instead of a Wednesday game. So with a quick turnaround, we're going to bus right back after the game instead of fly.
You're playing 2 teams that are undefeated at home in conference play in Colorado State and Vegas. If I were to put this in front of you right now, magically I could say, Coach, you could split these games. You come back home, you're 1-1 on the road. Would you take that right now?
Now, we want to win them both, Darren. So if we lose to Colorado State for some reason, I'd take a split.
So it's a conditional split.
Absolutely.
But, yeah, I had a feeling I knew the answer to that question. Nobody's going to sign up for that thing ahead of time. But, man, I mean, everybody in this conference, Coach, is so good at home. Everybody's good. 5-0, 4-1, 4-0, 4-0, 3-1. No matter where you go, it's just tough. It's so tough to play there. I know we sound like skipping records. We talk about this every week, but you're going into 2 places now where these 2 teams don't lose in conference.
No, they don't lose at home. I mean, I think Colorado State has close to a 30-game home win streak. They didn't lose a home game last year in conference, but they had a tough time getting them on the road. So we know what we're going into there. And they're going to have wear their orange uniforms, which they only wear once a year, back to the days when they were the Aggies, the Colorado State Aggies. And they're going to be in their orange, and it'll be a colorful event in there. I said we ought to wear our red just to make them mad, red and orange against each other. But I don't think that's going to happen.
Well, they're ranked this week, which is something new. And Coach Fisher is a voter in the coaches poll. Do you help him with that at all? I mean, does he ask your opinion on how to vote?
No, I'm much too busy to rank the teams. Coach sits down and he goes through what they've done during the week and looks at who they've played, and he puts a lot of time into it. And so I know he's ranked Colorado State for a number of weeks, and so they're not a surprise to him. They're 19-4, the first time in the rankings for them, I think, in 59 years. So we know what we're getting into. We're excited about it, and our kids are excited.
Hey, Coach, last thing before we wrap up. It was in the notes from the game over the weekend that Jamal Franklin scored his 1,000th point. And when you think about playing at the collegiate level, that's a big benchmark for a lot of teams, and it's a big benchmark for a lot of different players. When you recruit him to come to San Diego State, is this part of what the expectation was for Jamal Franklin, that he was going to start reaching these sorts of plateaus, not only as a player but as a scorer?
You know, you always hope that they achieve their dreams, which is to be a big part of a major program. And we've got 3,000-point scorers. Chase is a 1,000-point scorer. Rayhan's a 1,000-point scorer, and Jamal's a 1,000-point scorer. So with that, we have a lot of experience, a lot of guys that have worked hard to achieve those kind of goals, to at the same time be unselfish and know that winning is more important than any point they score.
Well, Coach, safe travels this week. Thank you very much for the time, and we will talk to you next week.
Thanks, Darren.